Welcome to Trash Compactor. I'm Josh, and today I'm joined by Fry
Hello.
and Russ.
Hi.
And today we're going to be doing Force Awakens 95, the sequel, or the third in our trilogy of prequels 1986 and Rogue One 77 thought experiments for what if these films were made at alternate times with different casts and directors. And today we are doing the sequel trilogy. What if The Force Awakens came out in 1995, The Last Jedi came out in 1998, and The Rise of Skywalker came out in 2001, which would be an uninterrupted new Star Wars movie every 3 years since the original came out in 1977. Which brings up a thought, actually, that I was thinking about when I was coming up with my list and who might conceivably actually be cast in these roles. By 1995, we're 7 movies in. I'm wondering, would Star Wars still have the cachet that it had or arguably has in the real world, like when it's like a perennial thing? It's like clockwork every 3 years. It's like, would it be like a James Bond sort of thing where it's like a feather in the cap, it's still fun, but it's not necessarily something that you would do for your career? Like, I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, I just due to the picks that I picked for my directors, I have to pretend that it still has cachet. Because I thought about that for a second. I'm like, should I just pick somebody who would be not considered the most prestigious at the time? But then I don't know, like just usually that'd be the kind of thing I'd like to do, but I couldn't really find any names that really I was like interested in fantasizing about as if they made Star Wars. So
No,
I kind of
I
went
get
with
you.
some more higher profile people. It just makes sense for the mid '90s for some reason.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like, a part of the fun of it is like the thought experiment aspect. So if you like have to restrict the fun choices, then that makes sense. But yeah, I wonder if, like, especially by this point, we would be thinking like how many directors even would want to do the latest entry in a long running franchise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, for our prequel thing, I think a name we were throwing around was David Fincher, because there was like a precedent for his big break was the third entry in a sci-fi franchise in Alien 3. So it's like, oh yeah, like I could see that. Yeah, but anyway, let's get down to it. So, The Force Awakens, 1995 version of The Force Awakens. Who are our picks for who would play Rey?
Yeah, I'll jump in right here. Keri Russell is my choice for Rey. I have backups, but Keri Russell would be my first choice.
That's a good pick. That's a good pick. So this is pre-Felicity, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm skewing younger overall, but they're going to grow into the roles, and I think it's fine if everyone skews a touch younger for Force Awakens. I feel like in the 90s they would have gone a bit younger because of Luke's age in Jedi. I feel like they were like, no, let's try to bring in a little bit of a younger audience, a fresher audience, because I think maybe there's some Star Wars fatigue at that time, and so maybe like,
Mm.
hey, let's get some younger, bright faces that our audience can kind of grow with. Let's get some actors that are just about to explode onto the scene. So I feel like Keri Russell is right there. So she'd be my Rey, definitely.
That's a good pick. Fry, what about you? Who's your Ray?
Keri Russell was actually like in my top like three probably,
Of
but
course.
I'm gonna go with Tandy Newton,
Ooh,
who
good
like
pick.
she's
Ooh.
like probably most well known now for being in like Westworld. But around the time this would have come out, it would have been before the movie Beloved, that Oprah Winfrey movie. But around that time, I think like maybe she was doing mostly like TV in England around the time. Like she would have been like in her early 20s then. And in the movie Beloved, and also I was looking at some like interviews that she was doing around the time, like she can do like affable, like, or she just comes across as very affable. Like, so I think she could do that kind of caring and like kind and competent thing pretty well. But like, I think she would also give like a little bit more of like an ethereal kind of quality to it that would
Mm.
not quite more edge, but like a little more. I think it would kind of serve the mystery, I guess, of who she is a little bit more. Because that's kind of in the movie Beloved, that's sort of something that her like that's related to her character. It's like so she
That's a
plays somebody
good pick.
mysterious.
No, that's a really good pick. I also like how so far we are picking people who would later in the real world actually be cast in Star Wars films. Because she was in Solo.
Oh right, I totally forgot about
Yeah,
A lot of people did. A lot of people did.
that.
Solo's great, man.
Yeah, I feel like it kind of feels better in my mind. Like I know if I watch it again, like I don't know if I'm gonna like it more or be reminded that like I didn't like it that much. But yeah, I feel like now I do like it. Just thinking back on it.
First third is solid, but anyway.
I think Solo is great. The only thing about Solo that I kind of lament is I would have loved to have seen the version with the original directors.
Oh right,
100%.
yeah,
Yep.
Yeah, like just because I think we ended up with a film that it seems to me played as it a little safer in terms of like the Star Wars vibe and Star Wars format. And I'm really curious what, God, I can't believe I'm blanking on their names. Lord and Miller, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
the Lego guys. Yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah, the Lego guys. I'm
Lego
really
boys.
curious. I'm really curious, like what they were doing that was so scary.
I bet it
um,
was awesome. I bet it was awesome.
I digress. My pick for Ray is Minnie Driver.
Oh, I like that
Ooh.
one.
She would have
Ooh.
been like in 95 she was 25, so she would have been like 23, 24 when they shot it. So that's about right. Friend of the show and stalwart guest Johnny wished he could be here, but he sent some of his picks. He has Nev Campbell,
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah.
Clea Duvall,
Ooh. That's a
Oh
good
wow.
pick.
Yeah.
Firuza Balk,
Ooh.
Nice. I like that.
Man, I'd watch all of these.
and he has Natalie Portman on here as well, who only would have been 13 at the time. I don't know that would have.
Yeah, I thought about that, but then
So
I'm
that was
like, wait, that
also like she did The Professional 94. So I don't know that she would
right.
have necessarily been on anyone's radar for the production of this 1995 Force Awakens. But I like where John's head's at.
Yeah, but that makes sense because that was kind of one thing I was trying to go for is I was thinking if it's the character is going to be the same age that she is in the actual movie, it's like 19, right? Like, so
Something
you
like
can,
that. Yeah,
I mean,
vaguely.
like you can somebody can play younger, but then like if they're somebody that's well known and they've played roles that are like older than college age already, like it's
Yeah.
kind of harder to buy into that. So like I think that's probably part of the reason why they cast like a relative unknown for the
Yeah,
actual movie, and like you'd want to do something like that.
for sure.
Somebody who is like
For
at the
sure.
very beginning of their career. Can I throw out a few more? Because like this is
Yeah,
like one where
please
I have
do.
the most of Sarah Polly, who
Oh,
I
okay.
looked at. She was like acting like for 10 years at that point. So I mean, like she was like she's actually a little bit younger than the character would be. Like she would have been like 15 or 16 or something like that.
Oh,
But
interesting.
I feel like she's kind of got like a certain like maturity to her that would have been interesting. And Tara Fitzgerald from the movie like Sirens and like The Englishman who went up a hill, who came down a mountain. Like she was kind of big English actress like in the mid 90s.
No, how do you spell her name?
Tara Fitzgerald.
Oh, yes. Yes, she would have been good. So what? She would have been like
I
20.
think she's like a little bit older, but
Yeah, but she could play young. She looks
yeah,
like she could play young. So yeah, no, that's good, and that's also like definitely not a very recognizable face with American audiences. So that's a good pick. So it reminds me of like Daisy Ridley a little bit.
yeah. You know what it was? This would never happen. But 95 was the year that Rosario Dawson was in Kids. And she was actually like a
Mm.
strong actor, like already at that point. So it would have been interesting to see her do. I mean, that's like I don't know how you get from Kids to Star Wars, but
Well, no,
A very
it's just
informed casting director.
well, yeah. I mean, that is their job. Um, no, yeah, I think maybe a couple years off in terms of timing, but I mean, she would have been great.
yeah, and also Kate Winslet would have been between Heavenly Creatures and Titanic.
You know what? You're right. Kate Winslet. I think Kate Winslet just jumped up to my number one. I think
It
that's
would
a
be
really
like
good pick.
that's like one where I feel like the character would be very different than the Daisy Ridley version.
That's true. Wow, so many
I'm sticking with Keri
possibilities.
Russell. Sticking with Keri Russell. I'm not getting swayed.
Yeah, I do like Keri Russell. That's like yeah,
No, Keri Russell is good. Um, okay, shall we move on to Finn?
Yeah,
yes,
I'll kick this one off, but I think I have my caveat is in my head. I've rewritten this film to be correct. So for me, Um,
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, Rey and Kylo are the solo twins, and young Anakin, the third child of Luke and of Han and Leia, are that's the relation. So that way, Finn can be a love interest for Rey or not. Doesn't matter either way. That I would have gone that way. It makes the most sense. They could have pulled what they wanted from the at the time expanded universe. Um, so with that in mind, also doesn't have to be a love interest. So I went one of two ways: if they're a love interest or if they're not. So if Finn is a love interest, I'm picking Ryan Felipe as my Finn. But
Good pick.
if not a love interest, because I don't think they would have gone for a lesbian storyline, I would pick Aaliyah at the
Oh,
Oh,
time.
nice.
I have Aaliyah on my list.
My backup though, if not Ryan Felipe, I'd go Omar Epps. That would be my
Aaliyah.
backup at the time.
Good
So
picks. Good
yeah, so
picks.
those are because it really depends. Like if it's Aaliyah, she didn't have to be a stormtrooper. She probably wouldn't have been. She could have been an imperial officer of some type on the scene at that moment. Uh, so yeah, and I feel like back then they would have made sure if it's stormtrooper, it could be the Ryan Felipe or Omar Epps. But yeah, that's me.
Good picks. Fry, who's your Finn?
I meant to pick other ones, or like extra ones, but I'm gonna go with Jeffrey Wright. Like, if you ever
Oh,
see the movie Basquiat,
Mm-hmm.
the biopic would have been like around that time.
Yep.
Just so if you've seen that, you can envision like what he would look like around the time. And also, he was in a couple episodes of the Young Indiana Jones
he
show.
was?
Yeah, so I feel like that could have been like the path to his casting. Like,
Interesting.
it was like one of his first roles.
Okay. All right. Um, my pick is Freddie Prinze Jr.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
nice.
Mm-hmm.
Though Omar Epps, John had also picked Omar Epps or Mekhi Phifer. I think Omar Epps probably edges out for me. He also has on here Matt Damon and Ben Affleck.
Yeah. I mean,
Though though I don't know. Though when was Goodwill Hunting? Wasn't that 97?
97, yeah, but
yeah.
they were in things at that
Yeah.
time. They wouldn't
No,
have been
yeah, it's
famous.
true. No, well, yeah, I mean that's another consideration. Like along the lines of what I was saying earlier, this is the seventh entry in a long-running, like perennial franchise. So, like, you're probably more likely to get someone who's not a star yet,
Yeah.
unless they happen to be like a huge fan and like and just like want to
What
do
if
it for something that the
Matt
kids can
Damon,
see.
So
Ben Affleck,
he's
and
coming
Minnie
off
Driver were
school
in this?
ties.
Yeah, no, right. I was gonna say it's like we get Matt Damon for Finn, Ben Affleck for either Poe or Kylo Ren, and Minnie Driver is Rey.
And now we just
And
need
then we
Robin
might,
Williams.
yeah, now we can cast Robin Williams as I don't know Snoke.
He
Yeah,
just
at the
does it like
time.
genie. He does it genie style.
Right,
Like, it's like
and
shut
he's
up, Snoke.
animated, and he can be animated instead of CG. He can be like it can be like an animated character.
Yeah, at the time, Matt Damon was coming off of like School Ties. He'd done some like TV movies, but yeah, he would be in the kind of the up and coming, like not broken through yet.
Isn't Ben
So he
Affleck
would.
also in School Ties?
Those guys just can't get enough of each other.
Yes, he is. He's is Chesty Smith is his character.
Jesse Smith. He is
Jesse
a Jesse Smith.
I had to say it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, okay. I like these ideas for Finn. Let's move on to Poe. Who's our Poe? Russ, do you want to go?
Yeah, I only have one choice. Paul Walker.
Wait, so this would have been
Ah,
like Tammy and the T Rex era Paul
Yeah.
Walker.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, that would have
Yeah.
been good. Yeah.
I mean,
And go to,
okay.
I see his future trajectory. Yeah, he's Poe. Also, Poe wasn't supposed to live past the first film. He was
Right.
supposed to be a little bit player, and I'm going in my head canon of the better corrected version of Force Awakens that he does die. So he's like, whatever. He's just a cocksure pilot, and boom, done. So yeah.
oh yeah.
Okay, Fry, who's your Poe?
I'm gonna go with John Cusack. Because
Really?
like this, yeah, this
Wow.
it kind of completely changes the character because he is definitely the Sigma male version of Poe. Like,
Wait, did you say Sigma male?
yeah, I
Sorry,
did.
maybe I've been not spending enough time on the internet lately, but what is sigma male denote?
It's like an alpha without like a lone wolf kind of like it would be an alpha, but like he doesn't give a shit about being an
Oh, I
alpha.
see.
So he's kind of
Oh,
like in
wow.
the corner being
Kind of a
He's like a
confident, cool kind of.
Yeah.
Only relies on himself. Yeah.
Yeah.
like a James Dean sort of a vibe.
Yeah. But like so but
Is
he
he
could
like
still
a
be
sigma?
cracking jokes. He could still be cracking jokes with the gang kind of like Poe does by especially by like Rise of Skywalker, but like it would be a little bit less genial. Like it would be like and a lot more sarcastic.
Wow.
But he could
Okay.
still
Um, I'm getting
but
an indication.
this is like think of like Gross Point Blank John Cusack.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like
No,
I've
no, I see it. Um, so my pick for Poe, it presumes that the character, he is a mainstay of the films and is one of the trio, not originally to die off, but Will Smith, instead of Independence Day, he does this. But I guess in the spirit of the he gets killed off after the first scene, I guess Harry Connick Jr.
I was just gonna say yeah. Like he would have been the Harry Connick Jr. of Force Awakens.
Yeah, exactly. Uh,
That's perfect.
if anyone in the audience doesn't understand why that's funny, go rent Independence Day, or not rent, stream. I don't know how you do movies anymore.
Go get a tape of Independence Day.
Yeah. So some of John's picks for Poe, he says these people are older than Rey, Finn, and Kylo Ren, but must register as younger than the original Star Wars main cast. He's got Benicio del Toro on here.
I actually had that on the list too.
He's got Lou Diamond Phillips on here.
Ooh, I like.
Nice. Actually, yeah,
He's
I
got
actually really like that one.
he's got Matthew McConaughey on here.
Yeah.
Nice.
Christian Slater.
I have a Christian Slater.
I think John should be a casting director. Send him back in
And
time.
he also has Will Smith, but in parentheses, if he can cope with not being the star, which was a concern of his at the time. Though that said, in Independence Day, he is a part of an ensemble. So I think, given the right material or something that he really wanted to do, I feel like the character of Poe as the hotshot, like Han Solo-ish pilot, I feel like he would have potentially been down to do it, because like they would have been casting this in like 93. So I don't know. But yeah,
I-
no, all good names.
One more, Hugh McGregor. I mean, it
Um
would have been like right before Train Spotting.
no, and also like he would have gotten in the pilot seat right after his uncle Dennis Lawson, who played Wedge in the
Right.
original trilogy. It would have been a
Oh
closer
yeah.
uh a closer lineage.
That's
That's
actually
interesting.
weird. That would have been weird if that happened.
Yeah, that would have been weird. Um okay, what about Kylo Ren, my friends?
Uh, real quick, I just want to stick this in there. Since I corrected the film, there's the character of young Anakin, the third child of Han and Leia, and that would be played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt. So moving on, Kylo Ren.
Nice.
Um, so for Kylo Ren, um, I had a few choices. Like I think DiCaprio's already out of range, and Heath Ledger, but I think Jared Leto. I would coming off of My So-Called Life.
That's
Um,
perfect.
which actually reminded me, I actually wanted to, if it wasn't Aaliyah, I'd also say Claire Danes as Finn, because I think her energy to contrast Keri Russell could have been a really interesting partner dynamic of those two. Because I want Finn to be force sensitive and ultimately become a Jedi like Rey. So I feel like those two with very different personality types would be good. But yeah, the My So-Called Life connection, Jared Leto as Kylo Ren. 'Cause I think he has the dark energy, and we've seen that in other films.
That's a good
Yeah,
pick.
that's a good one. I actually considered Claire Danes for Ray at one point.
No,
Mm.
yeah, so did I actually. I don't know
Yeah.
why I didn't mention her, but yeah.
On the young
Uh,
side, I think, but yeah.
Yeah, well, how old was Daisy Ridley?
she was like 21 or something like that. I think she was
Yeah.
born in 93.
She
So
was
she might have
born in
been like
92.
20 or 92.
Yeah, so when they were shooting Force Awakens, so Force Awakens came out in 2015. they were shooting it in
20
2014. So
probably
she would
maybe.
have been 22. Yeah, right.
But yeah, Claire Danes would have been because I think she was like 14 or 15 when she did like My So-Called Life, so she would have been about that age.
Yeah, get a little too young, I think, for her to realistically have been cast. Though, I mean, I could buy it. So who's our Kylo Ren?
I'm not happy with this one, but Christian Bale.
Oh, that's actually not a bad pick. I like it. I like it.
Yeah, right after Fresh
Um,
Off of Swing Kids.
I'm actually not thrilled with mine either, but Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, actually, yeah. You know, that would have been interesting because did he play anybody like that at that point? Who's all kind of
I don't
either
I don't
surfer
think
dudes
he
or
had. I mean, I'm just thinking of like Johnny Mnemonic. Is
yeah,
that time? And
right,
I
all
don't
right,
know. Like I was just kind of thinking maybe one of those opportunities where like he just may have wanted to stretch his range and also like done a Star War.
yeah.
I don't,
But
I don't
also,
know.
like, I feel like a lot of Kylo Ren's dialogue is pretty terse, and like he does well with that,
Yeah,
In
especially
my
when he's talking to
version
Rey.
of Force Awakens, ultimately, Kylo, Ben Solo, comes around earlier, and is or not dark sided at all. Actually, in my version, I don't know. So yeah, I think it's good because he has the lightness of being, and I think Keanu works really well for that.
interesting.
Yeah.
Johnny's got some good ones. Stephen Dorff.
Mm,
Oh yeah, I do like that
hmm
one.
I like that.
Um,
Kind of
he,
short, no? Right?
uh,
Wrong dwarf or no?
yeah, I think wrong Dorff. I think you're thinking. I think you're thinking.
No, Steven Dorff is. I think he's pretty short, isn't he?
Is
It's
he?
a dwarf
He's
thing.
a little
Yeah.
man. He's a little
I
guy.
gotta. I gotta look this up. Stephen. Okay, Google. Stephen Dorff height or Chat GPT. Is that
Okay.
what we do now?
Look
Stephen
alive, Google.
Dorff.
But we're talking Tim Conway, right?
He's
That's
Okay.
short
Well,
and on golf.
this is sensitive territory for me because Stephen Dorff is my height. He is 5'8".
Oh well,
Uh,
no, I feel like that's a lie. I feel like that's Pat. I feel like he's like 5'6".
what are you basing this on? Like
I feel like because
the
he's.
times
I
that
feel
you
like
run into him at the coffee shop,
I
or
feel
what?
like I've seen him in movies like standing next to other people, and he's like, "Hey," and he's also just kind
He
of got the proportions of somebody who's 5'6".
okay.
said a tall guy.
Yeah, said a tall guy. John also has an interesting one. Feruza Balk again, who was one of his
Oh, that would have been so cool.
picks
Yeah.
for Ray, but I think if we're not sticking to male, I think she's got that kind of immature sort of
Yeah. Oh man, that's really good.
darkness there. Yeah.
That's who I was trying to. That's like the kind of quality I was trying to find, but I wasn't smart enough to look outside of men, like male
Yeah.
actors. Like, and I'm like, why can't I find this?
He also has Josh Hartnett.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like
Yeah.
that would have been like. Didn't he make his debut in like '98?
Yeah, I think. Well, he was in the faculty
Right.
in
That
'98.
and Halloween H2O same year. I think H2O was the first one that was released, and he got like an
Oh,
introducing
interesting.
credit.
Oh, I did not know that. Okay, let's move on to. Do you want to do Hux or Snoke next?
Well, I don't have a Snoke. I'm just my Snoke is Robin Williams.
I like it. Okay, so let's do Hux.
So I have a few here. I think my Hux is either Guy Pearce or I can never say
Oh,
his name here, but David Strahan.
Oh yeah,
oh, Strathairn.
He
it's true. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. I think David Strahan. David S. I think he's gonna be my Hux.
I like that.
No, I like that too. I was thinking either Paul McGann or Richard E. Grant from with Nail and I.
Oh,
Ooh,
nice.
Either one
ooh.
of them.
Oh, I
Either
like
one
how
of
you
them.
shift like Richard E. Grant. Just like it's an interesting role shift there. From
Right, from the same basic. He basically plays an older version of
yeah,
that character in Rise of Skywalker. So if you just like rewind 30 years or so, or 20 years, I guess. No, 25. I don't know. I can't do math. Um, John, he also has Richard E. Grant. He has Tim Roth, who
Oh, Tim
I think
Roth is
would have
gonna be
been
mine.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that
think
was
Tim Roth would have been good. And Robert Carlyle, Johnny Lee Miller, and Ewan McGregor.
oh, Johnny
Is
Lee Miller is
his
a good one.
Yeah, Johnny
Mhm.
Lee Miller is a good one.
Hux. And this is one where I had like a lot of them, so I'm just gonna share like a few of them. Like
Do 'em.
John Hawkes,
Okay.
um,
Oh.
Yeah.
um, Kurtwood Smith, like from that '70s show,
Oh,
and
interesting.
so
Okay.
because
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
RoboCop fame.
because right, like if he could have been like starting out as
Bitches
RoboCop
leave.
character, and then he turns into Red, and
Great character. Oh man.
and Xander Berkeley, he's like kind of a
Oh,
character.
yeah. Xander
Yeah,
Berkeley would have been good for Hux. So are we saying Hux is like a little bit older than he was portrayed in the movie?
yeah, I think so. I guess if you want to get no, this would have been even younger. I have Sam Rockwell on here.
I would have gone older
Sam
myself. Ooh,
Sam
Sam
Rockwell's a
Rockwell's
good
good.
pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know who I like the most out of all these. There's some good picks in there.
I feel like Tim Roth is pretty good.
Yeah, Tim Roth is good. He also has the accent going for him to maintain the continuity of all the bad guys having
Yeah.
British accents. So shall we do Snoke?
Yeah, I got a number one for Snoke. Robert Edlund.
Ooh, good one.
I feel like he's
Good one.
someone comfortable in makeup, prosthetics,
Yeah.
playing evil, but also like I feel like he would have brought like a really unique flavor. Because like it's going to be an in-person character. It's not, it's going to be a real human, not CG. I feel like, and he kind of has that look. He doesn't even need to be made up very much. For that character per se. Also,
No,
Daniel Day
yeah,
Lewis in the mix.
I
What's
don't
that
know
one?
if he would have done it. How do you
Yeah,
method act as whatever he was?
I'd like to see it.
Yeah.
You're an evil space wizard.
And somebody quote made you. Like,
No, yeah, I like that pick just because I would like to see how a method actor of his stature would handle that acting challenge. I would like to. It's like he probably would have like shadowed like a dictator from a former Soviet bloc nation, and like like I don't know. I don't know where my mind is going right now. Um,
no, that's probably about right.
I don't think I could do better than Richard Edlund. I think it's the right match of like genre, familiarity, stature, look. Having played similar kinds of characters, I'm sold on Richard Edlund. I think that's
Yeah.
great. Um, Fry, what about you? You got some Snokes?
No, I was like
Snokes?
trying to. I forgot to pick one for him, but like just now, I was trying to think. Like I keep on. What's the guy from? He's on Fringe, and he's also in Lord of the Rings.
John Noble.
Yes, yeah. I don't know what he was doing in the mid '90s, but like somebody like him. That's how I was just, like somebody who's like kind of like can do that
Yeah,
disgusting like eating something like an
yeah.
like that kind of deal.
That's a good
But
pick.
Um,
Yeah, I like
no, yeah,
that.
that is a good pick. You know who I just thought of? William B. Davis, who was the cigarette smoking man in the X Files.
oh
Mm,
yeah, yes.
that's
That's
pretty
he
much
pretty much is
Snoke.
Snoke. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty much Snoke.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
think this is a reminder to our audience that they should all rewatch the X Files.
yeah, but stop after season 5. Stop after the movie. Grudgingly, I will admit there are a smattering of worthwhile episodes in seasons 6 through 9. But I would watch. This is not an X Files podcast. Never mind. Um, go watch everything and make your own judgments. That's always my advice on watching anything. So John has some interesting choices for Snoke. He has Gary Oldman,
Nice.
who I think would have done it if it was a voice. I don't know if he would have done it. Or maybe he would have pulled a Hannibal and like been under so much prosthetic and just not
I
taken
was
a credit.
I was just gonna say like like I'm picturing a cross between his Hannibal character and his Fifth Element character.
Wow, that's tricky to reconcile. um, No, well, that's true actually, and maybe that's where John was coming from because, yeah, Fifth Element is kind of like a French Star Wars, basically. So yeah, maybe that's what he had in mind. But
Going
yeah,
back a
so
little bit, one of my other Kylo Ren's was Gary Oldman, because like you forget, like at the time he was like 36, 37. He's like,
that's true.
and
He
he's
could have
like
skewed younger.
pretty, yeah, fairly like handsome younger guy. Like, and I always think of him as being like 50 years old, but in the 90s he was not.
No, yeah, like I'm even thinking of him as you know, like when I think of '90s Gary Oldman, I think of two things. I think of Lee Harvey Oswald and JFK,
Mhm.
Yeah.
um, and I think of the main terrorist in Air Force One,
Oh yeah,
and
and the professional.
oh yes, and the professional, of course. Yeah. So, but that's wild though. Like if you think of Gary Oldman in the professional and Gary Oldman in JFK, like those two characters seem way more than 3 years apart. It's like his Lee Harvey Oswald feels young,
Yeah.
and his character in the professional, you don't get those. He's a good actor. This Gary Oldman. I hope he gets some work. Some of John's others are Christopher Eccleston, who I could see potentially doing it, and Ray Fiennes.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, Ray Fiennes is good.
And I have one that I didn't send in the list I sent out to you guys, but there's a character that appears at the beginning of The Force Awakens in only two scenes. Lorsan Tekka, who's played by Max von Sydow, who I think is just really an excuse like to get an older actor to lend some gravitas to the movie. So in that spirit, the 1995 equivalent of Max von Sydow, I'm thinking, is either a cameo from Peter O'Toole or Anthony Quinn.
Hmm.
I think maybe Anthony Quinn would edge out Peter O'Toole if I were the casting director. But
Yeah,
here,
actually, I really like Anthony Quinn because that would have been. He's like a different kind of gravitas than Max Van Sydow. It's
yeah,
like a little gruffer, I guess.
no, and as you mentioned off air, Fry, he was fresh off a cameo in Last Action Hero,
Yeah,
so maybe that's like what his agent was
doing
booking
for.
him for at the time.
He would have also been in a pool in this one for some reason. His-
Yeah, my client's only doing gigs that are 1 day shooting, and he must be in a pool. All right. Do we have any Maz Kanadas?
I mean,
No.
one person came to mind immediately, and then I had to check out Estelle Getty. I was like 100% Estelle Getty, but that she died in 92.
How dare
Uh,
Oh
she?
man.
but I had a backup immediately ready. Zelda Rubinstein.
Oh nice.
Who's
Oh
Yeah,
really?
yeah.
Zelda Rubinstein?
From
From
Poltergeist.
Poltergeist.
Oh,
Like
okay.
like she doesn't even have to do anything. Maybe a tweak less southern, but yeah, like like she could totally play
Yeah.
a human. She's also very small, I believe. So like she's a perfect choice to play Maz Kanata.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
It's too bad that Estelle Getty wasn't available because she would have been.
Oh,
Uh,
100%. That would have been my choice.
She died right after Stop Remember Mom She Would came out.
no,
The
I
movie
guess so
killed her.
because that was like the movie killed her. Is that what you said?
Oh wow.
uh,
Stop or my mom would shoot. Oh, my mom will shoot was 1992. Yeah.
right.
Oh boy.
Was it like dedicated to her?
Fry. Do you have any Maz Kanadas?
Frances Sternhagen. She's like Sheriff's wife in Misery. She's actually been in. She was in the De
Okay.
Palma movie of Raising Cain. Um,
Okay.
I feel like
I see that.
because I don't know, I was trying to pick Matt Vision. Now that like Russ is good because they can actually play like Zelda Rubinstein or Estelle Getty if she was alive, like they could have just had like a little bit of makeup on him. So because I was trying to envision like how they would do the character, and I figured either way, if she was physically playing it, like that could work potentially. But she could also just do the voice because she's got kind of a elderly, wise voice, just kind of naturally. Even though she was like younger than she's still alive, and she was like younger at the time she was only in her 60s, but she came across as older.
No, I like it. So because I think the idea for Maz Kanata was that she was sort of like a Yoda like character. So I'm thinking she's a puppet and the likeness was inspired by Estelle Getty.
That makes sense.
With the voice by the, I believe, Vietnamese woman that was a lot of the basis for the Ewok language. She like smoked like 3 packs of cigarettes a day since she was 5, and she had like a really Really interesting voice, according to Ben Burt. Let's move on to Captain Phasma.
All
Who you
right,
got?
I'll go with Grace Jones.
Grace Jones.
She's like tall, like statuesque, like black woman that was in what Bond
Oh,
movie?
oh yeah, right. Yes. Right,
And
right.
what's funny is so I looked up what she was doing movie wise around '95, and she was in this like very low budget movie called I think Cyber Bandits. Like Robert Hayes is in it, and like I looked at the trailer, and her character actually has like a Maz Kanata costume, basically. He's got these like goggles like on her
That's
head.
funny.
I'm like,
I know what I'm
um,
watching later. Oh
No,
wow.
yeah, she was in A View to a Kill, the Bond movie
View to a
that she
Kill,
was
yeah,
Yeah.
in.
And then the second
Um,
Conan film.
yeah,
yeah,
I think A View to a Kill was that the last of the Roger Moores.
yes.
When I did my James Bond rewatch at the beginning of COVID, I found A View to a Kill much more enjoyable than its reputation. I think it deserves a reevaluation. Um,
Yeah, isn't like Christopher Walken the villain in it?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Russ, do you have a Phasma?
Yeah. I don't know where this came from, but I said Rob Lowe.
Rob Lowe for
Nice.
Captain Phasma? Okay, I like it.
Yeah. I don't know why. I feel like I see him playing a character with a some sort of like a little bit of a Napoleon complex, chip on his shoulder. Yeah, I don't know. It just
I like your vision here. It's
yeah,
like this would have been like Tommy Boy era Rob Lowe.
yeah. A
Right.
little unexpected, but I feel like get him in that chrome. Let's do it.
um,
Chrome the
speaking
low.
of
Yeah.
speaking of Tommy Boy, to go back to Hux for a second, if we're going with that like younger Weasley thing, we could do a David Spade. You throw David Spade in
Yeah,
there.
yeah. It would have been great if Chris Farley played Pride.
Oh yeah, right,
Like,
right. If
and he ends up,
David Spade is Hux and then Pride is Chris
yeah,
Farley later.
and he ends up having him shot like Chris Farley. Ends up.
Well, John's Phasmas, he has three: Carrie Ann Moss, which was mine,
Oh, nice.
Gina Gershon, and Famke Jensen.
Yeah, I had Famke Janssen.
Oh,
Um,
that's a great
Who?
choice.
Yeah, she
um,
was in at this time. I think she did Goldeneye.
right.
Mm.
So yeah, so that's interesting. That's the second James Bond villain pick for Phasma.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah,
I had a couple other Gina Davis. Would have been funny.
yeah. Gina Davis would have been funny.
Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, I feel like that would have been wasted on Sigourney Weaver's talents. Like, might as well
Yeah.
cast her as like Ray.
What about
um,
Lucy Lawless? Who done like right when Cena
Perfect. She would have
started?
been perfect. Yeah,
Yeah.
she would have been perfect for Ray. I mean, for
Sure.
Ray. Uh, I, I mean,
Yeah.
maybe,
Anyway.
but for Phasma, yes, a little Xena warrior princess in there. Do we have any thoughts on director for Force Awakens, 1995?
Gonna go with Jonathan Demme. And like
Wow.
so like this is we were talking about this before, like if you go like somebody who's less established or kind of like more of a B movie director, but let's pretend for a second that Jonathan Demme is going to do this after Silence of the
Silence of
Lambs
the Lambs.
and
Yeah, after
and,
winning an Oscar for Silence of the Lambs.
and Philadelphia, and then like before Beloved. But I feel like that kind of makes Tandy Newton like a little make more sense because she had to work with him twice. But I just
Sure.
feel like his style, like depending on the script, like he could kind of potentially like kind of capture the original Star Wars kind of like sense of like fun and adventure, but like '90s style. Like, but so
Mm,
it wouldn't be a complete rehash, kind of like Force Awakens actually is. And like maybe even if the script is that, like it would be kind of a little more disguised. And they're
mm,
because if you think before Silence of the Lambs, he did some comedies, and he's got kind of a very like humanist touch, I guess. Like the even before like there was like Something Wild and like a couple of comedies before that I think I don't know that would have been interesting. But also it's mainly just because I think that the if assuming the Han Solo death scene is in there, like kind of as is, like his close ups where the characters are looking at the camera would have been
oh
worked
yeah.
out pretty well there. Yeah.
Right. No, so that's interesting. So a thought that just occurred to me, which was not my pick for director, but if we're going like probably wouldn't have, but there are justifications that you could make for this thought experiment. Brian De Palma, because he was friends with George Lucas. He famously ripped the rough cut a new asshole, and then as an apology, he rewrote the opening crawl for Star Wars. And in this period, I guess where like the Untouchables, right, is around
Yeah,
here.
or
And
87. Yeah,
oh, really? Is that 87?
yeah.
I thought it was early 90s. Okay, my bad.
It looks kind of
Um,
like it
He
looks
was
like a
just
91
directed
movie.
Carlito's Way in '93.
90. Yeah,
okay,
and then Mission
okay,
Impossible.
right,
'96
and
Mission
then
Impossible. Yeah.
right, and then Mission Impossible. And then I'm also thinking he did that like Mars movie shortly after this time, so he's like not averse to sci-fi. Like I don't know, what is that movie called? I hated that movie.
Mission to Mars in 2000.
Yeah,
Yeah, Mission. There's that and the
yeah,
like Red Planet with Val Kilmer. Remember this came out at the same time.
right. Yeah,
Oh,
another one of those Volcano Dante's Peak, Armageddon, Deep Impact,
yeah.
imbroglios. I don't know if I used that word properly. I don't think it did.
But
But
you
I
said
like
it
the
well.
way it. Yes, I like the way it rolls off the tongue. Thank you, imbroglio. Russ, do you have any directors for Force Awakens '95?
Yeah, I'm still throwing my hat in for Catherine Bigelow. Like, I'm gonna get her making
Okay,
a Star
all right,
Wars
Nice.
movie. Like, I don't know how
all
long
right.
it's gonna take. It's which trilogy it's gonna be, but she's doing it.
My real pick for a director is Frank Marshall, who was the other half of the Kathleen Kennedy Frank Marshall producing duo. I believe they're married. And Frank Marshall produced Jurassic Park and the Indiana Jones films and directed the 1995 film Congo.
Oh, right.
So if we are going in the other direction of like not the caliber of a Jonathan Demme
Yeah.
or a friend like a Brian De Palma, you know, giving your longtime producer collaborator a shot at directing the seventh entry in a franchise that is, unsinkable. I'm thinking instead of Congo, we'll give him Star Wars 7, The Force Awakens.
That's
I
really
don't know.
good. Along those,
I
I
don't know.
actually forgot to mention like the alternate one that I had, which is kind of more like in that mindset. Frank Oz. He would
Yeah,
have. It
right.
reminded what he said, Frank Marshall, because I think he produced this movie that this is
Return
the
to
same
Oz.
year. Return.
He
Yeah,
did
right. But I was thinking of Indian in the Cupboard because it would have been the same year.
the Indian
Ooh,
in the Cupboard. Sorry. No, yeah, that's
Um,
what I was thinking of. He did the Indian in
Tech.
the
I like
Cupboard.
that movie.
Which was the first film, I believe, since Return of the Jedi to have a live action Darth Vader
yeah,
suit used.
Mm.
and like I was watching a YouTube video recently, Corridor Crew, like they were kind of marveling at the
Yeah, I love
special
those
effects in
guys.
that movie, like because there was like really good they do really good miniatures in that, so it was done, it was like obviously an island, so I feel like that is the out of all the movies that Frank Oz directed because he did a lot of like the Jim Henson stuff, and but that's like the one that has the most like Star Warsy special effects, and like so he would have been, I guess, kind of closest to directing something like a Star Wars right around that time.
I think that's actually a really good pick. And I want to correct myself. Frank Oz did not direct Return to Oz. I'm thinking of Walter Murch, who was, the famed film editor and also did sound design for Apocalypse Now and THX 1138. And I don't
Wow, I didn't
know
know
if
that.
he did it for American Graffiti, but he edited The Conversation, and I believe he edited The Godfather. And I mean, he's like the editor's editor, basically. But yeah, he directed Return to Oz, I think was his feature debut. Um, so yeah, maybe Walter Murch may have directed one of these.
Have another connection though. Return to Oz, starring Firuza Balk as Dorothy.
Hey,
Right.
okay,
Yeah,
maybe we're
we're
okay.
we're there. Yeah, Firuza Balk
We're
is starting to edge up to front runner here for any
Yeah.
role.
yeah, yeah,
Put
we're
her in the movie.
circling
I like
something.
I like how like among all this we can kind of suss out like a movie that could have conceivably happened, like if this was the reality of
Right,
like
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Okay, those are that's everyone from The Force Awakens, which is the bulk of the casting. Is there anyone that I left off or any names that you guys want to throw in the ring for either any of the characters or directors or even like a special effects sequence?
I was trying to think of how like the guys from the Raid, that Indonesian action movie, like had that
Oh
cameo.
yeah,
I was
right.
trying to think of who it would have been, like if there was the same type of thing that happened, because I guess they helped the choreographer in the movie, and that's how. And then they are like, "Hey, do you want to roll while you're here? Do you want to have this role?" Like, would it be like
Yeah.
Donnie Yen and
Yeah,
like I
that's
don't
what
know
I was
who else?
about to say. Yeah. That's interesting. Okay, well, let's move on to the new characters in The Last Jedi. Do we have any Rose Ticos? John has a good one. Melanie Linsky, who's on Yellow Jackets right now,
Oh,
but
that's great. I
she
love
was in
her.
Heavenly Creatures.
Yeah,
I like that. I had one. Robin Tooney.
that's good too.
Oh, that is a good one.
So we're also connecting back to Frieza Balk again through the craft with Robin Tooney as Rose Tico. My backup would be also Rachel True from the craft, and then my third was Katie Holmes, a little bit on the young side though.
Oh, interesting. I
But it'd be
like
fun to
where
have
everyone.
like a young mechanic, like she's like way too young, but she's a mechanic and like
Yeah,
wants to get in the action. Like no, you stay back. She's like, no, I don't want to get in there. I think that'd be kind of fun.
Okay,
yeah.
well,
Like, what are
now
you,
that
7?
you've got my head
What?
in Empire Records, I'm thinking of
Ooh,
how come nobody said Liv Tyler for Ray?
Oh yeah, yeah.
she was on my C tier of that list, but yeah, she's bouncing around a little bit.
So I'll throw Liv Tyler in for Rose.
Mm.
Nice.
Yeah, Katie Holmes might be out because I think her first thing was the ice storm in '97.
Yeah, a little too young.
Yeah,
So maybe she could be
yeah.
the sister with no lines.
Well, I think you throw Liv Tyler in some not coveralls, but more like overalls. Like I'm in. Like that's yeah,
Yeah, like that's what I'm thinking. Like I'm thinking,
You're right. Yeah, I don't know why
yeah.
you're right that it is supposed to be. It should be coveralls with her, but you're right.
yeah.
Do we have any Admiral Holdos? Is she a Vice Admiral? Vice Admiral Holdo?
Hmm.
I don't know. Played by Laura Dern in the actual film. Do we have any Holdos?
Yeah, yeah.
um,
Well, I gotta say, so Fry doesn't steal my answers. Um, uh,
Okay.
Elizabeth Shue would be probably my first choice.
oh, that's a good
Oh,
one.
interesting
Uh,
choice. I like it.
and my backup is Mary Elizabeth uh,
Master
Master
Antonio.
Antonio. Yeah,
Yeah,
Nice.
she's on John's list.
yeah. John knows what's good.
I'm gonna go the opposite direction of like the tall woman. I'm gonna go with Holly Hunter.
Ooh,
Holly
ooh,
Hunter. I
that's
like it.
good. Damn. All right, that's really good.
commanding while being short.
Ooh, I love that.
Mine was Helen Hunt.
Ooh,
Oh yeah,
another
that's
hunt.
good.
Or-
Yeah.
yeah.
Helen Hunt is my Vice Admiral Holdo. Um, John has some great ones. He's got Angela Bassett,
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Michelle
nice.
Yeoh, who hadn't yet done Tomorrow Never Dies, but may have. Oh yeah, no. So I was saying The Last Jedi is 1998, so she would have done Tomorrow Never Dies.
She was like a star, like not in English or Hollywood movies,
Yeah,
but she's
no, but I'm just thinking in terms of like mainstream Hollywood.
yeah.
Um,
She wouldn't yet be known
um,
to the world like the
right,
Hollywood side. Yeah.
right. So like choosing to do a film like this at that moment in one's career is like a choice.
I have a
Uh,
couple. Oh, so
no, John has a lot. Sigourney Weaver,
Mm-hmm.
Frances McDormand,
Mm-hmm.
Gina
yeah.
Davis,
Yep.
Maggie Chung,
Oh,
Okay.
didn't have that one. That's
Yeah.
good.
and
Interesting.
also the aforementioned Mary Elizabeth Master Antonio, who should have been in more things. So,
Oh man.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Outside Glenn Close
Glenn
Ooh.
Close is good.
Yeah.
Glenn Close is
Yeah.
good.
I like that a lot.
and Angelica Houston.
Yeah.
Oh
uh,
yes, that was actually yes. I had thought of Angelica Houston. She would have. I think she would be perfect.
You guys are on fire. That's great. That's inspired.
and also Susan Sarandon.
Susan Sarandon, of course.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
These are great choices. Wow. Put them in a Star Wars. All right.
Um, do we have any DJs? The Benicio del Toro character, Fry. Would you like to?
I have a few. I'm gonna go with Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Ooh,
Ooh.
nice. I like it.
Ooh.
I like it. Russ, have the any DJs?
Yeah, I was gonna do the classic right back at you, Benicio del Toro as DJ. Because I think he was coming off the usual
Right.
suspects at the time. So he would have been
Yeah, that.
in the
Yeah,
in like enough of a name, like, oh hey, check this guy out. Um yeah.
Yeah, that was also mine, and was also one of John's. John's other one was Lori Petty, who who
Ooh.
who I remember most from A League of Their Own and from Tank Girl.
Yeah,
Right.
Tank Girl is exactly what I'm thinking. That came out 95. So
Yeah.
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 I have some other DJs. Nick Nolte.
Oh, that would have been great. I want to
Just
see
like,
that.
yeah. Bruce Campbell. That made me. I just thought of him
Ooh.
because of
Ooh.
him
That's
and Jennifer Jason
perfect.
Leigh together in Hudsucker Proxy. So once I thought of her, I thought of him.
That's
That
great.
no,
Um,
yeah, that would have been great too.
You're hired.
Chris, Christian Slater.
Okay,
Christian
yeah.
Slater
Uh,
would have been good. Yeah, because like you're thinking about this character, he's got to be someone that you're not sure about, but also he delivers the goods, and then also sort of turns on you and like and stings you at the end. So it's like it's that whole arc from someone who's like, "What is with this guy?" to "Oh, he just fucked this really bad."
yeah,
Ooh, I
but I
got
like
two
how
now.
like mostly depending on like the like for a number of factors, but like how old the actor is that played him,
Yeah,
like that could go. There's so many
many ways.
different flavors to like what you can be
Yeah.
like, because also Albert Brooks, uh,
Ooh.
Albert
Michael
Brooks,
Michael
Ooh.
Keaton,
Michael
and
Oh,
Keaton. Oh
Billy
my
Crystal.
god.
oh, all those
Billy
are great.
Crystal. Oh my god. I want to see the Billy Crystal. I actually do have to say, I think Michael Keaton, because I think one of the things with the character and getting Benicio del Toro, I think, and this is me completely hypothesizing and projecting, but I think one of Ryan Johnson's motivations for casting him was like, I just want to have a Benicio del Toro in my Star Wars movie. Like, why
Right.
not? So I have a feeling that like someone very well could have said the same thing. Like, I want to get Michael Keaton in my Star Wars movie or something like that. I mean, or even like hell, let's go with Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yes.
I came up with a Jean Reno
Oh,
as a
nice.
Ooh,
That
as a
is good.
turncoat, which essentially he does in like most of the films he's in. So I feel like he was
Right.
kind of a natural fit. The other one that popped in my head just now was Steve Buscemi, thinking back to Reservoir
ooh,
Dogs as well. It's kind
that's
of
good.
like you really can't trust this guy. Also Fargo, like everything he's in, like he's just really don't trust this guy.
I think I had Buscemi on. Yeah, I did on my Hux list.
On your Hux list.
The Hux list.
Um,
I'd watch that show.
the Hux list. Yeah, it's on the
Or
Star
James
Wars
Spader.
universe. Or James Spader. Oh, speaking of
Ooh,
James Spader,
Spader.
Russ, someone on the original trilogy.com forums posted recently they were really taken with your casting for James Spader as the young Obi-Wan Kenobi. There was inspired casting on your part. I forgot to mention to you. So-
Screenshot that for me. I need that on the wall. Because you're
no,
still in feathered hair James Spader era. It's like, it's
yeah, man.
perfect. It's perfect. It's Spader Prime. Can't beat that.
For the benefit of our listeners, go check out our episode prequels 1986 to hear some of our other prequel recasting from the 1980s. Okay, do we have any directors for The Last Jedi? 1998.
I've got another one that's in the mold of Jonathan Demme. That's like it wouldn't really happen, but it would help Russ's casting with Katie Holmes through the ice storm because Ang Lee.
Ang Lee.
Ang
Yeah,
Yeah,
Lee. Yeah. You know what? I love the Ice Storm.
I don't,
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't,
I'm feeling it.
I don't think it's like a perfect fit in every way, but like, I just think that like a lot of his movies tend to be like have a lot of like family and like kind of cross generational themes, which would kind of work for the premise of this entire trilogy as a whole. And I feel like I was trying to think of better directors from around the time that would kind of just kind of. I feel like he would kind of do okay at handling um, the themes that like Ryan Johnson kind of brought to Last Jedi.
mm.
That more like kind of humanist like approach. I don't know
No,
if
I
he would
agree
be
with that.
good with the darkness though. Or, I mean, I guess it's not a super dark movie, but
Well, yeah, like that, and he also, with a lot of his later movies, showed a willingness to really work with cutting edge special effects technology. I'm thinking of the Hulk. I'm thinking of Life of Pi. I'm thinking of oh god, there's one that I'm leaving out.
This is the movie that he met Nick Nolte on. That's why he's in the Hulk.
Right. Oh yeah, I forgot Nick Nolte's in the Hulk. Mine is Mimi Leader,
Oh,
who
nice.
in 1998 did
Deep Impact.
Deep Impact. For similar reasons, I think she would really get into the beating hearts of these characters in a way that I think I know not everyone shares this, but I think Ryan Johnson did, and I think it's she was for better or worse. I think this was the time when she was at a point in her career where she would have been considered for something like this.
Yeah, actually, this is an awesome pick.
John had either Luc Besson or Sam Raimi.
Luc
Oh, nice.
Besson.
I
Yeah,
mean, if
I
he
like
would have
that.
done it, I mean, I don't know. He strikes me as a guy who might not want to do a major franchise film, but I mean, who knows? Um, the other
Well,
one
I
that I
mean,
just
Jean Reno's playing DJ, so
yeah, right. No, that's true. That's true. The other one that I just thought of was who directed Alien Resurrection? That he was
oh,
French, right?
Jean Pierre Jeunet.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
as you know, yeah.
Maybe Jean Pierre Jeunet would have directed. He could have directed Last Jedi '98 instead of Alien Resurrection.
Yeah,
I
I
could
like
see
that.
that. And I have to say, going back, Fry's choice for Demi really works because if you think about it, you know, David Lynch does the Elephant Man, and then gets tapped for Return of the Jedi originally. So it's really there's like a tradition of like making a great film, winning an award, and making a star or potentially making a Star Wars film. So I think it's in the universe canon that Demi would be a prime choice.
And also,
Uh,
you got to think if they're like this is going on at this point, like the third into like a third decade of this, like consistently. So, assuming that's these movies are being released like theatrically, like they must be something along like James Bond mold, where like people are
right.
still into like they're either I mean they're either direct to video or they're like still something that like a hot property that people want to get involved in.
Well, the interesting thing about the James Bond example is that they went kind of the other way in terms of directors. Like they sort of had a stable of like James Bond directors and like they direct Bond movies and not really anything else. Like, very famously, Steven Spielberg begged to direct a James Bond movie, but they didn't want someone of his stature because they wanted to be able to sort of not micromanage, but like they didn't want someone who would like have too much of an individual unique voice.
Is it's funny because like meanwhile like the James Bond movies did tend to just kind of like model any given entry would like model like whatever is popular at the time. Like Moonraker comes after Star Wars, like so
Right.
like they do want to rip off those things, but they don't want the actual people that are making it come in. Like
Yeah, right, right. No, those are all really interesting choices. Is there anyone for Last Jedi 1998 who we
well,
have?
director the other I would Steven Summers would be my other way to go with it. The guy that did The Mummy and Deep Rising.
Oh, yeah. No, that's a good name for that.
Oh, you
Um,
know what? That was my other another Poe. Oh, is Brendan Fraser.
oh,
Uh, like he would
that's
have
good.
actually, yeah. I guess that could work because I mean, like he would have to get to Mummy level Brendan Fraser earlier, but like because I think that's kind of after Encino Man, and like he was doing movies then, but like, and I think maybe
Right.
that would have worked because like he would have, depending on like how much these movies attract A-list actors at this point, like he could be the type of actor right then that would do a lead role in one of these.
I got a weird one. It's probably a mismatch for directing characters, but Michael Bay still coming off music videos and not having yet made Bad Boys in 1995. So he would be like a hot
So you're thinking for the Last Jedi in '98 or for the Force Awakens?
after Bad Boys. I feel like he goes into The Rock. Like I feel like he's maybe The Rock is the proving ground that makes them think that he can direct
Yeah,
The Rise of Skywalker. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, I forgot to mention John's picks for director for Force Awakens 1995. Michael Bay was one of them, and also Roland Emmerich, who would
Yeah.
have, I guess, directed this instead of Stargate, or maybe right after Stargate, because Stargate comes out in '94.
right. I
So,
guess yeah. Either
As
way.
long as you don't touch my Stargate, we're fine. Leave it alone. I need my Spader
speaking
vehicle.
right, I was gonna say, speaking of James Spader, and Yeah. Okay. So let's move on to Rise of Skywalker. We have General Pride, Janna, and Zorii Bliss are the new characters that we have yet to cast. So, do we have any General Prides?
I was
Yes,
boring
I do.
here. Gary Oldman was my general pride
Okay.
choice. Safe.
Um, Terrence Stamp.
Ooh,
Terrence Stamp. That
ooh,
would be yes. I like it. I like it.
that's good.
And I feel like there is a movie, The Real McCoy, that came out like in '93. I feel like he should have the hair that he has in that because he's kind of like he's balding, but he's got like kind of the long white hair, kind of on his shoulders and that.
Mine is Tom Baker, who played the fourth Doctor Who.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
this is a really long walk for a ham sandwich here, but it's sort of like I'm thinking similar to the character. He was a part of the Empire, so he's sort of his glory days are behind him, but he still has like the commanding presence, and he's really over this, and he's annoyed that he has to even be serving alongside these youngins. That's sort of
yeah, I like
my
that.
rationale there, and also I just think the Tom Baker should be in everything. So, do we have any Jannas, who was, I guess, the love interest? It's sad that that's how I think of the character, but she's just like a love interest for Finn.
yeah,
Um,
uh,
Also an ex stormtrooper.
yeah. You know what? Like, I have a few for this, but Lori Petty for this one.
That's
Um,
good.
just because, yeah, like it would have been Tank Girl or era Lori Petty.
So maybe okay, maybe Pamela Anderson.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I went a totally different direction.
I wanted to be
Uh,
played by both Lori Petty and Pamela Anderson in different just switches at some point.
Russ, who was your pick?
so I went with Jessica Alba, who'd be coming off Camp
Ooh.
Nowhere.
Camp Nowhere.
So she's 12, but I feel like she seems like she projects a little bit older than that, and then also like having like a young like kind of similar to that young character from Solo that's like leading like that resistance group.
No, yeah, it's
Um,
sort of like a child soldier,
yeah,
like
yeah,
sort of deal. No, I like that.
yeah,
That's
and I
cool.
see. I feel like she has the acting chops at a young age. I feel like that might have been nice, a good character for her to step into.
No, I like that. I like
Yeah.
that. I was also thinking Aaliyah for this one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice. You
Okay.
know, I just want to go back to General Pride because I did have other one because when I hear General Pride, I think of Jonathan Price.
Ooh, that's perfect. That's
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah, no, I love me some Jonathan Price. No, that's okay. I like that. Um, Zorii Bliss, who was played by Keri Russell in Rise of Skywalker 2019, who would have played Zorii Bliss 18 years prior in 2001.
Marissa Tomei.
Oh, nice.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I'm sold.
So there's only one name. So I was like, well, I just cast Carrie Russell. I have to like. So basically, now I'm seeing Carrie Russell is playing like in her later years is basically playing like what I'm considering like a Marissa Tomei role in her
That's
current
no, yeah.
like acting career in a way. It's my weird Russ version of things.
Nice.
No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Fry, what about you?
This one's I feel like pretty obscure, and I do have a kind of a backup that's a little more recognizable. But for now, Cartledge, who is she was like she actually died and like at the age of like 41 in like 2001, but like throughout the 90s she was in like a few Mike Lee movies, including like Naked with David Thewlis,
Oh,
and
okay.
she was in the Lars von Trier movie Breaking the Waves,
Okay.
as Emily Watson's like sister, and she's just got this kind of like really subdued but like sort of mysterious style, and I feel like she could, in a way that's not distracting, kind of convey like a pretty deep like kind of character and a backstory for Zorii Bliss. Like, and I could see like if they went the way where like you just see her eyes, she's got pretty expressive like unique eyes. So
No, yeah, I'm looking at her now. No, yeah. No, that's a good pick. Why was she top of mind for you? Was it from Naked
um,
or
actually, it was from Breaking the Waves. Like I was
oh,
just
it's from
kind of
Breaking the Waves.
like, yeah, for some reason for this character, like I was trying to think of somebody who not like unfortunately because she did die, like but like not like it never became like, and it didn't have been doing a lot of roles because she died young and like never became like particularly well known as like
Mm,
a as a film actor. So like I don't know.
I like that.
I feel like for this character, like it's more interesting. Like it was like a little bit of like stunt casting in the actual movie, and like it would have been more interesting if there was like an actual actor that kind of blends into the role, but like really stands out. And you're like, who the hell is this
No,
person?
I like that. I like that. I'm gonna go the other direction. I just got an idea as you were talking, but Meg Ryan, in my
Nice.
mind, she's kind of the Keri Russell equivalent. Like 2019 Keri Russell is like 2001 Meg Ryan for some reason.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I could see that.
I
Yeah.
think their ages are like or similar. Like they're at that time like early mid 40s, and yeah,
Yeah.
it is kind of like stunt casting. Um, so John's list, he has Ashley Judd,
Ooh.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Jennifer Lopez,
Okay.
Gina Gershon, and Maria Bello.
Huh.
Oh, yeah. Those are all really good.
Man.
Rhea Bello, I like a lot.
And so who are we pairing her off with? So this character, her big thing was she was a former lover of Poe. So
Well, it's got to be John
good.
Cusack.
It's gotta be John Cusack. Um, yeah, I'm thinking Will Smith and Ashley Judd. Will
Mm.
Smith and I don't know. I don't know. Uh, who do we have for directors for Rise of Skywalker '01?
This is another long shot one, Peter Weir.
Oh, I would kill to see a Star Wars by Peter Weir, but
Yeah, because I
yeah.
feel like he would handle Ray very well. I feel like he would do that, and he would. Assuming Last Jedi is pretty much like as it is, I feel like he would kind of take that over pretty well. But I think he especially would handle Ray well because all his movies like have to do with like being like out of place, you know, like and like
Mm,
whether they went with Palpatine or they just made her nobody
nobody.
or they made her the other solo twin like Russ said, like I feel like he could have integrated that well and like actually done something with it rather than like do like nothing with it.
Yeah, showing your cards there. Russ, you were recently singing Peter Weir's praises. You just saw Master and Commander, right?
Yeah, all the way through, finally. I think I'd only seen pieces of it over the years, and I was just like, "Oh, this is just a great work of cinema." Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that'd be a great choice. But
Yeah, like
also
that.
oh, I was just gonna say, like, going back to your, like, would there be Star Wars fatigue by this, what, like, 3rd decade of
almost
Star
certainly.
Wars? And so by then, it's like, are they losing numbers? Are the audience not coming out? Like, all right, what do we have to do? Like, instead of making greater cinema, we need to like blow their socks off. So I think Michael Bay would be a better choice here for Rise of Skywalker. So I'll throw that because I think like we need to razzle dazzle them. We need to get the butts in the seats. We need explosions and intensity and spinning cameras. So I think
Yeah, I
that's
mean, so he would have done this instead of, I guess, Pearl Harbor, right?
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that sounds right.
No, yeah, I see the logic there. My pick for director of Rise of Skywalker '01 is Joe Johnston, who directed Jurassic Park 3
Mm,
instead of, I mean, in
Yeah.
the real world, he did Jurassic Park 3. Um, so and also the Rocketeer. So he was also on
love
my
it.
list for The Force Awakens. Or you could make the case for any one of these movies. Like I think, coming from the ILM Lucasfilm family, he was definitely a shoe in for one of these. And then, watching Light and Magic, I didn't realize that George Lucas basically paid for him to go to film school and recommended him to be the director for The Rocketeer. So I think as someone who promotes from within, I definitely think Joe Johnston is a very likely and realistic and logical choice to direct one of these movies.
Yeah, totally. I think it would actually either be that. I had one other thing that I think if it's not Joe Johnston, like it would definitely be in 2001, the ninth movie. It would be John Turteltaub, and I feel like that would justify the reason why anytime there is a John Turteltaub movie, the trailer says directed by John Turteltaub. Like if he directed Rise of Skywalker or whatever it is, like it would make like, oh yeah, it makes sense. That's why they say his name at the end of the trailer.
John's two picks, he's either Peter Jackson,
Mm.
Nice.
coming off of
The Frighteners,
yeah,
was it? Yeah.
the Frighteners. Oh, so I guess he would have done this instead of Lord of the Rings. So maybe we don't want to.
No,
Yeah,
no, we
I
don't
could,
like that.
but I guess I could see that happening if you're going to get a director like that. Like that kind of makes the most sense, other than maybe Michael Bay, because like I mean he wasn't quite Peter Jackson yet at that point, and like he would be obviously like
Right.
capable of like
Right.
tackling wanting to tackle something like this.
Yeah, well, those are all of my picks. That's everyone that I have. Is there anyone that we didn't mention, or any errant thoughts you guys had that didn't fit into the sort of
Well,
outline for this?
the Codebreaker in Last Jedi that Justin Theroux plays, I feel like that could have been Harvey Keitel just basically playing Winston Wolf, like Winston Wolf. You just see him for a second.
I like that. I like that. That's good. Oh no, yeah, that reminded me. I had thought of Harvey Keitel for Snoke because I just think that'd be funny. Lot of good names. Like I want to see these movies. I'm really always like by the end of these episodes where we do these alternate reality castings. I want to see these movies.
Yeah.
So we've done the prequels. We did Rogue One. What should we do next? Now that we've done the sequels, should we do Solo? Should we do any of the shows? Should we do the Mandalorian next? I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I could do any one of actually, I mean, I could do any one of those, but Mandalorian might be interesting. The kind of somebody who's like in a helmet.
Well, I'd recast the Mandalorian with Boba Fett, and the Boba Fett would be the expanded universe Boba Fett.
Well, so what's interesting too is that I feel like the Mandalorian casting is just kind of like who wants to be in a Star War? It,
Yeah.
Who is
you
popular
know,
right now?
no, it's not even who's popular. It's just like who wants to be in it, and are you in the area from June 7th to 13th, and you can and you can be the guest star in this episode is like kind of how. So I feel like they're already doing their kind of fantasy casting on that show. So maybe it's
Like
not a good one.
Amy Sedaris, do you want to be Jerry Blank as Ellen Ripley?
Who do you think suggested the no eyebrows? Was that her idea? It's like I can't have eyebrows if I'm playing this character.
Yeah, that's for
Yep.
sure.
Okay, I
Yeah.
just wanted to check in about that. They got
She
burned
like
off
puts
in a
like
thruster
tape on her
accident.
nose to like pull her
Thruster
like
accident. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to think on this because I enjoy these alternate history episodes, these alternate universe what if episodes. If you like what you heard, please visit us at trashcompod.com where you can find transcripts of this episode and all our other episodes. You can shoot us an email if you have any thoughts about what we should do next at trashcompod@gmail.com and or leave us a message, drop us a DM. We are TrashCompod across all social media, and we will see you on the next one.